Today I'm going to be talking about underwater photography with a Seafrog housing. So I think most of you have played with a GoPro before, and this is kind of what I started out with. But strangely enough, it's really hard to get super cinematic footage with a GoPro. And those adverts you see of GoPro where the images just look so incredible, to recreate that is almost impossible without super strong software, and yeah, I don't really know how they do it. Last year actually all my equipment got stolen in Costa Rica. I was working on that side and yeah, pretty much got ambushed in the bushes and they stole all my camera equipment. And when the insurance paid out for that, I thought I would upgrade my kit a little bit, and what I decided to go for was an entry-level underwater housing. So this is from Seafrogs. It's specifically made for a Fuji XT30, so that's what I'm filming on right now. It feels really solid, it's entry level, it is quite a cheap housing, but I watched so many reviews and people seem to be really happy with them. So I've actually only taken it into the water twice because it's very nerve-wracking. And just while I'm doing this tutorial now, I've actually just noticed a small little crack on my housing, and I'm pretty sure that hasn't happened from me using it because I just haven't done anything crazy with it. It hasn't been knocked around, and it actually looks like the little crack is coming from the inside from a screw when the housing was assembled. So that's very disappointing, and I'll have to contact Seafrog. The only problem is they don't ship to South Africa, so I don't know if they're going to be able to help me out with this. The other thing was, when I bought this housing, it came with two kind of domes or lenses. There's this dome lens and then there was a flat one as well. So the flat one kind of locked into position, but this one actually didn't, and I was trying for ages to get it connected and locked. Again, wrote to Seafrog, asked them what the story was, sent them pictures, and it turns out that they hadn't actually made a hole for this pin on this dome lens, so I had to, where is it, actually drill a hole over there so the thing would actually lock into position. So just opening that up now from the last session, there was actually a little bit of sand in between the seals. So the first thing you do when you set up this housing is you need to grease all the seals, put them back, and yeah, do a water test. But you've already got sand in the seal, which is quite concerning. The other thing that I didn't get with the housing is a vacuum pump. So what you can actually do is set up your housing, connect a vacuum system to this, suck out all the air, and then it makes it airtight. I didn't get that either, so I'm pretty nervous taking this into the water. It hasn't leaked. It actually has an alarm if water does get in. So it's just got a little sensor over here. So if water does get in, it obviously closes a circuit and it'll let you know. And I don't think water ingress would be so heavy so quickly that it would actually destroy the camera. I think you'd have time to get out, but yeah, the main thing is now that I'm a bit concerned about this crack that I found. Every time you use it, open it up, clean the seals, wipe out any hairs, anything that could break the seal, clean it properly, and after use also make sure that you rinse it properly, that you press all the buttons running through fresh water to make sure that everything's been cleaned out properly. So it does need a bit of maintenance. There's quite a difference between the GoPro and this housing. I mean, this is a monster to use. And it's actually quite tricky to be in the water, negotiate the waves, swim, and control the camera. So you've got amazing functionality with all the buttons. You can pretty much do everything to control the camera. But yeah, you've got this big thing. I mean, it could hit you in the head, you could lose it, surfboard could fly around your ears. But it's something I really enjoy, and being a surfer myself, it's just a new dimension to the whole thing to actually capture the experience of surfing and being in a different position to actually observe the surfing as opposed to surfing oneself. Now I'm actually always in a predicament because I don't know if I want to surf or if I want to take photos, so it's quite a tricky one. It's super good exercise being in the water. I do go in with fins, and what I'm going to try next time as well is to go in with goggles, because when you get under the water you obviously can't see through the viewfinder without goggles, just to get those better images. It's surprising as well, I'm so careful with my stuff. I always have this lens cover on on the lens, and I transported so carefully, but nevertheless I've already got scratches on my dome from just using it twice. And there are products that you can use to buff that out, but I guess I'll just wait till it gets a bit worse before I do that. One problem that you have with water housing, obviously you're always going to have water on your lens and it can ruin a good image. One thing people do is they actually lick their lens before they go in, like you would do with your goggles. And another interesting trick is to kind of put some wax on it. So you can put a little bit of wax from your ear, put it on, buff it off. You could probably use candle wax. So I'm sure there's products you can get to kind of keep the water droplets running off of your screen, and it's definitely something one needs to pay attention to, otherwise it's just going to ruin your images. So here are a few sample images of stuff I've taken so far. These are just stills at the moment, and as you can see the water's not very clear where we are here in South Africa. It's quite murky, it's cold, it's sharky, and yeah, it's not exactly Indonesia with beautiful crystal clear water, so it's going to be more challenging to get really amazing banging photos here. But we do have days where it clears up a bit. We've got a lot of marine life here. The only thing is, here's a picture of a whale if you can see it there, a little blob. So the lens that I'm using is a 10 to 24 millimeter. As you can see, it's very wide, so you really have to get up close to your subject before you can see what it is. And the problem in our water, because it's so murky, it's hard to get so close to get that shot. So we actually went in the water this day to try and get close to the whale, but it was a mother and a calf and they were feeding, so we didn't really want to get too close and disturb them. So the Fuji XT30 that I'm using with this housing, it's a great little camera. It shoots in 120 frames a second. The only thing is it's not stabilized. It doesn't have IBIS like the XH1 that I use most of the time, and that makes the footage a little bit shaky, but it's still something I need to experiment with a little bit more. I think if one gets good control of your housing, you could probably get relatively smooth footage with the XT30. So now the main thing is just getting into the water more. I think I do need to be careful with this housing and not push it into big waves, because it's already showing signs that, well, it's got a crack already. That's really bad. But I'm definitely going to play around with it on mellow days. Marine life, that sort of thing would be really exciting. So yeah, I'm just going to keep playing with this. I think I'm going to write Seafrogs an email though. So in conclusion, I think the Seafrog housing is quite a good bit of kit for the amount of money you pay. I mean, it is an entry-level housing. A couple of things I would suggest though is definitely getting the vacuum pump system, getting a handle grip if you're going to be in the waves, and yeah, I'm going to write to Seafrog and let you guys know what they say, because I'm pretty upset about that crack that I found, and you can tell it's not from an external blow, it's actually from the inside. I think it's a good housing. You just have to kind of follow the steps, make sure you use it properly, make sure it's sealed properly, and then you'll probably be alright. I've got a long way to go yet with water photography and filming, so if you guys want to keep an eye on my Instagram page as well, I post my pictures there. I'll keep you posted on whatever happens. Hopefully it's not a big disaster at some point and the whole housing flood. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, cheers.